Okay, we're recording here, recording there, we're recording everywhere. We live right now. Today is September 25th, 2024. I was about to say another day, another year. Today's my birthday. Happy birthday to me. Yeah, so we'll talk about the giveaway or the guess your age thing at the end. One of the subscribers, he gave me a good idea of kind of guessing it in a different way, but we're doing pretty good. We are live. We're actually on our new device, new audio. Here, I don't know. Yeah, you can hear that. But yeah, recording, doing my thing, just trying to test things out. I think it's going to work out just fine. I just have to play around with a couple more things, but other than that, we are doing pretty good. Let's go ahead and drink our coffee. Brought to you by Mr. Coffee. I wish. Probably in the future. It's fine. This is my Outcast coffee. This is I guess a Supreme pick-me-up. It has some Robusta in there. And then whatever else I decide to put in there at that time. Doesn't have that much flavor, not really. It's a true dark roast coffee. I try to make that coffee just like black, just strong, as they would say. So, and that came from Mr. Coffee Machine, and that's what we're going to be talking about right now. Mr. Coffee Machine. I spent 2 months. I was telling another person. I spent 2 months working on the Mr. Coffee Machine, testing it out, understanding it, working on its quirks, and really just taking it in for what it was or what it is, so to speak. And the cool thing about all of this is that it's been lovely. It's been really lovely to kind of just figure things out. Like I said, I have a background in engineering, and one of the things I don't really do in my day-to-day type of things is really think, I guess. It's mainly dealing with people, projects and stuff. But I don't really get to express myself or to geek out in a way to where I'm learning something really new. So that's more so what this whole experiment has taught me. And I'm glad I did the way I did it, because I could have easily modded the thing, and I could have easily given you tips of how to mod it to make it better. But that's not the point. The majority of people are not going to do that. They're not. They're just going to drink their coffee and move on. So if I can figure out that machine, then I can help out a lot of people. And that's what ended up happening. Well, not helping a lot of people. I will post a video, the final video that I did of Mr. Coffee Machine in the next couple of weeks. I have to edit it, and I have like 10 or 12 in the queue right now. It's just bizarre how many videos I actually have right now. But the cool thing about it is that I did figure it out. I wouldn't say I, so to speak, conquered it. I understand it now. And I understand that the machine is what it is. Just like any and every machine, they have their quirks. They have their pros. They have their cons. And you have to work with that in order to try to bake the best thing. And I think that's the biggest lesson that I learned from this whole experiment. Is like, hey, how do I use this machine in a way that mostly everybody does? So it was in grind size, and depending on the coffee, of course, you're going to grind it differently. What was the other thing? And then as you go more to adding more water to the cup, you can only add so much coffee. And that's kind of relevant or makes sense the same way as pour over or any other type of drip type of method works too, because it's not a linear type of trajectory, so to speak. Meaning that if you want 15 grams in, you don't do 15 grams of coffee. You don't do 15 times 15 is 225. You don't do that. You have to keep adding more. You have to actually let the coffee do more of the work than when you add it, especially in the beginning. If that makes any sense. But the cool thing about it is that it was just fun to play, fun to experiment, fun to really use the things the way that they are supposed to be used. And it was cool because it was one thing I noticed, which I don't really care for, is that it's a fast brewer. The paper filters are actually a lot lighter compared to all the fast filters and the regular filter size of the Hario V60 and the Kalita Wave. And it's a bigger basket, so it can, of course, hold more water. So it was one of those things to where you're like, wow, this is quite amazing how different parameters work the way they do. And one of the things that I noticed or examined was that I was a big person in not caring about just a single pour in the middle. Because if you think about it, I'm about to get geeky, is that you essentially exhaust a lot more of your extraction if you're just pouring straight in the middle. Because the majority of the brew water is going to be extracted in the middle. And then that's where the grind size comes in. That's how you can actually play around with that type of stuff. How you can mimic and get the the water to actually travel to the outer skirts of the water so it can get more so like an even type of extraction. It's never going to be even. That's the thing people don't realize. It's with any brew. No matter what brew ratio that you try to do, you can try to mimic. You'll probably get it from time to time. I'm wondering if you can taste the taste of a almost 100% even brew. But if you look at all the brew ratios and methods and the techniques that people have right now, a lot of them do start with a center pour, and then they go on an outer pour, and then they come back into the center pour. So again, majority of your brew is still in the middle. And guess what? Mr. Coffee does that all the time. And then eventually, depending on the grind size, hopefully the coffee works the way that it needs to in order to extract, is that now you are working with something that does truly, really work in a way to where it's getting proper extraction all corners. This is interesting that I'm saying this right now because a lot of times when we talk about brew ratio or brewing coffee, we tend to just stay on this whole like even particle size of coffee grounds. So we get our grinders, we get our hand grinders, we get our EK43s and whatever grinder that we need in order to get the most perfect grind size. But a lot of times, especially with our techniques and stuff, we're not really thinking about the extraction efficiency. That does make sense. And I think that's one of the things that we have to be mindful of, that the brew is never going to be in properly evenly extracted coffee, especially if we just pour in the middle. But again, that's besides the point. The point that I guess that I'm really trying to make here is that you're able to use a machine the way it is and to understand the machine the way it is and able to actually make fantastic coffee from it. That's the beauty of it. And I think I've talked about that many podcasts ago, how the Specialty Coffee Association, whatever it's called, is it's failing us. It's good to have standards. It's good to have like way you go about doing things. But when you have standards, you tend to alienate others. It's not a racial thing. I'm not talking about that. What I mean is that you start to alienate people who also drink coffee. You alienate people because of their brew devices and the way they go about their logic or mindset around coffee, which is mostly a convenience thing, which is perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. You know, it's one of those things where we have to realize what we're doing when we're alienating people. And I'm not saying that you need to do the same things as the specialty people do. Everybody is more so the same and acting the same and coming in with the same brew ratios and the same recipes and the same type of coffees and anaerobic this and then only light roast that. And it's one of those things to where we are getting away from the whole reason why we drink coffee. And again, I know you may think it's like, this dude doesn't really care for people. I do care for people. It's about people. It's about loving and exploring this craft, this hobby, this thing that we get to do if we wanted to. every day of our lives, multiple days of our lives if we want to. That's fucking powerful. But if we're on this high horse and we're just telling people what to taste and what not to taste and the things that they need to worry about or things to take into consideration, which is perfectly fine. It's fine to get advice and information from people that know, I wouldn't say necessarily more, but the way they look at it is totally different. Then that's where we need to be. But when we look at other machines and we don't even try to figure them out, I'm as guilty as anybody else because I call it a piece of shit machine. But now it's a staple device that's on my counter right now that I brewed some cup of coffee on my birthday. That's where the magic really happens. Because like I said, this machine isn't perfect. Hario B60, my favorite brewer, is not perfect either. Depending on the coffee, depending on the day. I see it in my wife's brews. They are terrible. Just terrible. They are the extraction of the lack of extraction that I see from those brews, because it's not an easy brewer to actually brew coffee from. It's a conical brewer. So coffee tends to get on the ridges on the sides and everything. And depending on how fast you pour, your technique, your recipe, that's what it produces. And I've seen many times is that it's slightly a lot better actually with a flat bottom dripper. You can still use a Hario V60, but a flat bottom filter, her brews a lot better. It's a lot easier. I'm sure it's a lot easier. She just pours the water and keeps it going. And that's pretty cool. And those are the things that we have to realize, is that nothing's going to be perfect. Even these $300-$400 machines that are out there that have the corks and all that stuff. And we have to think about all that stuff of like making sure we do this to the machine, do that to the machine. You still got to dial it in. You still got to figure it out. But I'm drinking this coffee and I'm enjoying it. Is it my favorite coffee that I actually serve? No. Does it actually give me that type of pick me up that I say that it does? Not for me, probably for others. Probably if I market it in a way to where I'll tell them it's 30-40% Robusta, which it is, which is a lot. But other people may like it for whatever reason, but I can enjoy it. So let's talk about also what the Mr. Coffee machine isn't for, which is ironic actually that I'm bringing this up. It's not for light roast. It's not, because again, I'm giving you some R&D details of me kind of figuring the machine out. If you want to know more details, DM me, call me, or whatever, or figure it out. But no, I'm here to share. I'm not here to gatekeep. I think I'll also give, of course, the recipes and all that stuff that I came up with weak, normal, and then strong per cups, because I think that's really the most beneficial part, and also the grind size, playing around with that. But let's talk about light roast. Light roast does work on a machine, but you're going to have to go pretty damn fine on it. You're going to have to go about it in a way to where if you do light roast, you're going to be on for a long ride, and it can't be that much coffee. It can probably do at most probably like a 6 cup, because again, you have to go fine on that coffee in order to get the extraction, because the extraction is very fast. And that's the drawback. And I don't understand why people love this fast filter so much, especially the light roast, because you need that time. You need that contact time. You need that time for the coffee to actually extract. And the way that you actually slow that down, manipulate it a little bit, is that you go ahead and you slow it down by making the grinds a little bit more finer. And you may think that probably over extracts it, but again, you got a fast filter. All that filter, all that, the way the coffee wants to brew is fast. That's all it cares about. And that's the beauty of the machine. It just wants to go as fast as possible. And if you go too coarse, then you're not going to actually extract as much as you want to. And then it won't allow the coffee to actually get on the ridges or the sides or the whole bed, because it's just steeping right through, so to speak, right? Those are some of the things that I learned and just experienced, just looked at the beds and then do my TDS and then understanding what I was looking at and then tasting the coffee. So light roast can work, but you have to go extremely fine. You have to go finer than you think that you need to. And can you get a good cup? Oh yeah, you can get a good cup out of it. It's all about the contact time. But again, it's harder to do that. And it's hard for somebody to push their perceivedness of like how fine they really need to do, because there's a big movement here of trying to grind light roast as coarse as possible. And that's fine, especially if we want flavor, but a lot of times it's just under extracted just because just the nature of the beast, you know? So those are some of the things that you have to think about and contemplate. But medium roast and dark roast, that's where a sweet spot is. Those are where the coffees can and really truly come alive. And it works fine. And the beauty of it is that I didn't just put a couple tablespoons in, pour to the line of the coffee I want, and then keep it moving. Just tastes good. And it was weird as hell to like think about coffee in tablespoons and cups and ounces and all that crap that doesn't really make any sense. But guess what? That's the way people drink their coffee. That's the way they experience their coffee. They either have a scoop or they have a tablespoon, and that's how they do it. It's really that simple. It's kind of weird to kind of take all the things that I've learned over the years and get out of my head, get out of my way, and get to the point to where it's like, this is the way it works. This is the way other people see it. And that's pretty cool. And that's something that I know that will be of help and benefit to people. And in me thinking about it in that way, that's where it's at. That's where the sweet spot is. That's where we can make something magical out of the Mr. Coffee machine, especially with specialty coffee beans. And I believe I accomplished that. So I can't wait to edit that video. There's another video I did to pay like a little homage to the Mr. Coffee machine, meaning that I just didn't use the Mr. Coffee machine, understand it and analyze it. What I did was kind of weird. It's not weird, but it's kind of funny in the case of me bashing specialty coffee, is that I used mainly the flat bottom coffee filter, a Kalita Wave coffee filter. I could either put in the Hario V60 or the April Brewer, and I played around with it. I played around with different ideas and logics and reasonings and brew methods and protocols, and I tried to mimic the Mr. Coffee machine as much as I could. I played around with temperatures. I played around with different brew ratios, and I played around with that one pour. And I did another video of a pour over recipe, and it's a Mr. Coffee machine recipe for pour over. It's cool because it's no blooming. There's no agitation of the grinds with a stick or whatever. There's no like different type of pours to the left, to the right. It's just one single pour right in the middle. And it's consistent and it's quick. And it does actually work, because all recipes work, right? But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. So this has gone on long enough. I didn't think it was going to be in 20 minutes, but I like just getting into the topic, and then now I can do some, I wouldn't say housekeeping, but just news and things that I've been going through. Amazon's fine. I do need to look at the listing again now, just perfecting it a little bit before I actually start sending coffee to Amazon, start getting reviews, and then hitting it hard next year on promotion, on giving information to people and getting them to understand what I'm trying to do. Yeah. So that's that. So my birthday's today. I was about to give my age. So here's a giveaway. It's quick and easy. I think a pound of coffee, 16 ounces, or we may do 25 ounces for September 25th. I don't know. We're going to do like one coffee or probably two coffees. Yeah, probably two coffees, 12 ounces each. That gives you about 24, 25, something like that. We'll work it out. But one or two coffees. You let me know which one you want from the offerings on the website. So go to the website and check. I will probably do this for, let's say not that long. Let's say the end of the week. So Sunday. I don't know. It's going to actually listen to me or ramble or whatever. But look at me now. You probably haven't seen me in a long time. Look at my videos. My videos are a representation of who I am. Okay. I want you to guess my age in months. Okay? Just guess my age in months. One guy's, I forgot his name, but it was funny as hell when he was like months. And I was like, that guy's interesting in a very good, interesting way. That makes sense. And either 1 bag of coffee or 2 bags of coffee, or either 1 or 2 pounds of coffee or 12 ounce bags of coffee, something like that. We'll make it work. We'll do our thing and just go from there. But just guess my age. We'll see how close you can get. And then we'll let it roll for the next couple of days. We'll go from there. So that's me. Zoki out. Happy birthday to me. And I hope that you enjoy your day on my birthday, which is, this will probably go live a day after my birthday. But yeah, talk to you later. Bye. We live out.